What up, corner crew? Welcome back to Let's Talk About, your unfiltered, uncensored topic show. I mean, there's no other way to put it. We talk about the different topics that no one wants to talk about. And so we're back. We took a little hiatus. We're going to be back pretty busy this week. A lot of stuff coming up. I'll let y'all know later. But we want to jump right into it. As always, we have the Blind Visionary, and we have our special guests from the XOXO show featuring JoJo and Gigi. JoJo and Gigi, let's bring everyone up.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello, hello, hello. How are we tonight, people? How are we doing?
Fabulous.
We're great.
Awesome.
Ladies,
thank you for
Thank
for
you so
joining
much
us.
for having us. It was nice when we got to meet you.
Right. Yeah, it was a good night too. It was a fun night.
It was
nice to see.
I've been to all three, and they've always been great. Like, I have nothing bad to say about every night that I've been there, and it's very welcoming. New York welcomes us with their open arms, and I appreciate that from everyone. We have the Blind Visionary joining us as always. Kevin, my friend, how are you tonight?
I can't call it. The humidity is coming back. We just had some local with some like really corrupt people getting ousted. So it's kind of been exciting here to say the least, but can't call it. Still here.
Kevin's in Jamaica, ladies, if you didn't know. So he's giving us a totally different perspective on things and what he's involved in every day in life. But I can't wait till we get warm weather. Warm weather's coming for us. It's been okay, even though it's been raining, but I can't wait till it's 85. I love that.
Me too.
But
I know.
it's beautiful.
Speak for yourself.
It makes me happy.
Well, you deal with it. But
it's not so much the temperature, but the humidity.
Yeah,
I don't like humidity. The humidity, I could do without.
I mean, if it comes with the territory, I'll take it.
Hey, you got to deal with it. The topic for tonight is love, marriage, single life, dating life. We've actually been wanting to do this episode, Kevin and I, for a little while, but we've been waiting for some female counterparts to give that other view. So there we go. We have the female side of things. And seeing that you are our guest tonight, we want to start off with just give us a little background about each of yourselves so our viewers can get to know you. Joe, go first.
All right. I'm JoJo. Been a part of like the underground hip hop scene out here on Long Island for 30 plus years now. I was just the dope ass bartender until I retired because I didn't want to be like the 40-year-old bartender. And no offense to any 40-year-old bartenders, but it wasn't going to be me. And I got sucked back into it. And then I sucked this bitch into it. And we get to put together these dope ass showcases where we have good friends of ours come and host. And I know so much amazing local talent that should be heard. And we never put like a half-assed rapper on the stage just because they're throwing us money, because it's not a cash grab. It's a hustle is a hustle, and I'm not going to knock whoever just trying to take anybody's money, but it ain't going to be us. And we get to put like some amazing artists in front of some people that can actually be a game changer for them. They have their own independent record labels. They have their established careers. They have names for themselves. They have notoriety, and you never know what's going to happen. So, and we will have our host pick an organization of their choice. And then we reach out and we find out what they need. And we will, for the night of that show, we're collecting for them. Be it toiletries, be it we give them a portion of the door. And it gives our hosts a feel good. They get to go back and have something to give back to their community. and it was doing something that they love. And our parties are a fucking vibe. Like, we set the tone.
Such a vibe.
We set the tone. Every one of our hosts has been like, yo, I will do that again. Let me do it again.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Gigi.
Yes. Okay. So my background, I've been a mom of like a whole bunch of boys for a whole lot of years. And, I've always been a lover of music, all types of music, but especially hip hop. Me and Joe have been, friends for almost a decade doing our thing. I am a like perpetual, like overachiever, do-gooder. So I get myself sucked into these giant projects that I need to execute. And every time I'm in a pinch or I've needed somebody, she showed up. And then we just kind of like combined forces so we can take over the world. Pretty much.
And
So
here
we
we
do
are.
our
That's dope
do-gooding,
that
we
you're
do our
doing.
hip-hop,
Dope that you're
we do it
doing it.
all.
And
It's dope that you're doing
to
it
have,
because both
because everybody
sides
said they
are
want
like,
to do it.
it's a male dominated field in every way too, in every way, from promoting to managing to anything in the background. And so you guys are just in there blazing your path and saying, no, we're gonna do this. And that's
Yeah,
dope. I
don't let the pretty
appreciate it
faces
and I
fool you.
commend you.
I'm a beast.
Oh, I'm sure. I got
I
6
will go
sisters. I
toe
got
to
6
toe with
sisters and
anybody.
they're all older than me, so I understand. Like
I will go
I
toe to
You
get it.
poor
toe.
I
guy,
get the
actually.
wrath. I get the wrath of a
Wrath
woman.
of
Trust
many.
me. Trust me. I can understand it. But with the topic tonight, I mean, we've all been in relationships that have been shit. We've all been in relationships that have been good. Some of us have lasted a long time. Me and my wife are going on 19 years this November. I mean, you can't say it's every one of them have been great. There's some that's been a rocky road, but we're still fighting, and some people fight that fight. Some people give up on that fight. It's
I
such
give up.
a
I give
vast
up.
array of, yeah, it's such a like you can have everything, every type of flavor in every type of relationship. And what are some of the things that you guys have experienced and are trying to either change it? Because I'm not sure on either one of your statuses. You haven't told us yet. But if you would like to let us know, like single, married, divorced, whatever, you can tell us. And what are you doing to further your path away from anything that you've been in toxic or something that's been great, and how you can mold that into what you're doing? Because you do kind of have to, like I've incorporated Carrie into what we do. She's always at the shows now. She doesn't really even listen to hip hop, but she knows everybody that's going on stage now,
And
so but
that's
she also
important.
likes to be there. Exactly. If there's merch
The
to sell,
experience.
I'll sell the merch, I'll do the door. Yeah, exactly. So
She
especially in
gets to
this
meet
type of
great
environment.
women like us too.
Right, exactly,
Yeah, she
exactly.
gets to hang out with us.
So what have been some of your experiences? And if you wanna go first?
Sure. So I've had a mix of experiences like over the years. My first son, I wasn't married to his father. We had a toxic relationship, learned a lot of things that I didn't want in my next relationship. A few years later, I ended up meeting my now husband. We have been married for 18 and a half years, but we've been together for like 22 years. It's not always perfect. We have 4 kids. We have 4 boys together. So there's things, sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's easy. And, we just both kind of like navigate. I have to say, because I was a single mom, I think I'm like overly independent. And, sometimes that like affects my relationships because I do a lot of stuff on my own. Like I'm with Joe, and I'm doing other
She won't
things. Like
wait
I
for
don't need,
anything.
I don't need that kind of reassurance, I guess, in that way. So, like we both do our own things, have our own passions, and then, there's things that we try to do together to grow. That's my story.
It's not easy. A
It's
lot of
not.
people think,
You
"Oh, we've
know,
been together 19 years. Oh, it must be great." It's great, but it's hard, and like you said, you have to find your own path and a path together, so that's even harder. Trying to, it's almost like you have to be 3 or 4 or 5 different people at one time, because you have your day job, you have
right,
this, you have your
right.
kids, you have it's not an easy thing to manage. It really isn't. But Joe, tell us your story.
I'm kind of feral at the moment. I've given
Miss
up.
Joe?
I've given up,
Mhm.
if that makes any sense for now. I
It
went I went through,
a lot of
a
people have.
marriage. Well, I went through a marriage very young. I had my first kid at like 19. I was, going through a divorce by 21. Just
Mm,
kind of been hyper independent my whole life. I have 2 sons, and I've had some dope relationships. I've had some amazing relationships until they're not. And I'm one of those people that I will try as hard as I can for as long as I can to make it right. Until I'm
mm,
just like running my wheels now. I'm spinning wheels and it's going nowhere. And I'd rather not just dedicate all of my time and all of my energy in trying to make somebody feel right when it's a them problem. So I know how to cut a
mm,
loss and just be like, well, that was fun. Because you can't make somebody, like do right. And one of my biggest issues is always I'm very verbal, I'm very transparent about what I want, what I expect, what I know I deserve, because I bring a lot to the table. So if they will try to act as if they can be all of that person that I have verbally said, like, this is what I want, and they will do their best, I'll give it to them. They will do their best to show me that that's the guy that they are until they can't act it anymore, until their bank accounts are now low because they were overspending trying to impress a bitch, or when they can't just bite their tongue all the time because when you met me, my feisty ass was a turn on. Now it's a headache. It's cute till it's not. Like, oh, she feisty. She might stab me. I love that. And then it's like, oh shit, she stabbed me. Now I'm scared.
That's my girl.
Like I'm very upfront about who I am and what I stand true to. And I'm not going to waver who I am for somebody else. So it always takes me by surprise when I start seeing the real person that you were trying to hide. And then it's like a major ick factor for me because I'm like, okay, you was lying about this, that, and the third. What the fuck else are you lying about? Is that even your real name? So
Most of the time, it's not.
most of the time it's not. No, let me stop. But it's, like I'm so driven right now and I'm
that
so
is
focused.
that will lead to some serious trust issues for sure.
I have very serious trust issues.
She
Very
does.
serious trust issues.
I think I think we have a lag again. There's a little bit of a
I
lag
have
going
the
on, I can
worst.
hear it, but hopefully everything's fine on the other side and everyone can see it. But
But
blind
like
visionary, Kevin Cooper,
Okay, I'll try to make
tell
this
your story, my friend.
as brief as possible because there are complications. So, I was the typical shallow male when I was in my 20s, but I kind of fell victim to a lot of karma, and I had to take a long, hard look in the mirror and take responsibility. And I'd say that I was reborn at about 25. And this was around the time MySpace was popping. So I met this girl from Jacksonville, started a little long distance get up with her, went over there, found out her entire family was racist. That was fun. But then we decided to work things out. But then she basically dumped me to go date a drug dealer who beat the living crap out of her. So that kind of hurt. And then in the process of that, I met my soulmate, who was again another long situation, this time from El Paso. So I went out on a limb without meeting her and just went out to Texas to meet her. And she was the one. We were supposed to be building a life together. I had to Jamaica for a while because of legalities. And while I was back here, she was murdered. So that kind of in a spiral for a while.
Whoa.
Care about anything, about anyone. And I felt hopeless. I didn't feel empowered. I didn't feel like I was in the position to be anything to anybody. And slowly but surely, I made my way back because she wouldn't want me to stay around groping. And during that process, I found opportunities in LA. So then I moved to LA. And it was like a shock because they say in LA, a 10 anywhere else in the country is a 6 in LA. So they're like beautiful women everywhere. And I'm like, I was like a man whore. And I'm like, look, I don't want to feel the hurt that I felt from heartbreak. So I just numbed it. And quicker than later, I found out there was nothing there. And I felt even more emptier than I did when I was by myself back home in Jamaica. So I kind of shifted gears. And in the middle of all of this, that's when I lost my eyesight. So I'm like, oh shit, I'm blind now. Who the hell is going to want me? And I had my doubts and all this shit. And I was like, oh, I'm going to be a burden for anybody. But then I decided then and there that if I'm going to be blind, I'm going to be the most awesome, most powerful, most inspiring blind man on the planet. And I carried myself in a certain way. And surprisingly, I did way better when I was blind than when I could see. And I kind of just was like, look, if we don't connect up here and we can't be authentic and unfiltered and both beautiful and love each other, then I don't want it. So that kind of gave me a crash course to have standards. And towards the end of my trip, I was with 2 people separately. Of course, I'm not an asshole, but they both struggled with addiction. And I made the mistake of believing I could help them by seeing the good in them, not realizing that unless they see it in themselves, me doing whatever didn't mean anything. No. So one of them fell apart really, really badly. Me and the other person are cool, but I'm like, I just can't talk to you if this is a situation. And the other one died from an overdose this last holiday. So I was like, okay, good thing I jumped ship before that happened. I mean, I feel bad about it, but it's like, okay, I need, at this stage in my life, like in the immortal words of Danny Glover from Lethal Weapon, I'm too old for this shit. So I basically did what JoJo did. It was like, fuck it, I'm all about me. I wrote, I built, established relationships with people during COVID and after. So that's how me and Brad became cool. And during the time, I've been talking to somebody that I've known for 12 years, and I've built a friendship with them, first and foremost. Like, I've had the hots for her from day one, but it's like, okay, it wasn't an issue, and I just got to know her. She got with other people. She ended up having a kid, and we just got to know each other over time. And we're completely transparent, completely honest. Communication is solid. And I'm building the foundation to one day marry her. But I'm like, look, I'm not going to take care of her until I can take care of her. Despite me being a blind man, I'm still a blind man. Keyword on man. And I have to be a rock for my lady. So yeah, that's where I'm at. So
I think that's another weird thing about being single now. Like the role reversals. Like modern women like myself, like we can hold our own. We can, like do what needs to be done. We can kick down the doors of male dominated fields, put our feet up on the table disrespectfully, and do what we got to do. And but we still want to be soft. Like well, I'm not speaking for everybody else. I still, wouldn't mind being soft in the comforts of my relationship. So if that makes any sense, like I want to be able to be that boss bitch out there in the world, but then be able to be led at home, be able to feel safe and secure and provided for. And a lot of men these days, it's like they want to feel safe and secure and provided for. So it's like what I shouldn't have to hear
Right.
like, well, what are you doing for me? Like, motherfucker, my presence is a fucking gift. My knowledge is a gift. My consideration and love is a gift. Anything else that I give you is an added bonus. My grandfathers would roll in their fucking graves if they seen how many men are like, well, what are you doing for me? And you get a lot of that now. And it's not just the young dudes, it's grown ass men that are like all of a sudden on some, well, what are you doing for me? And that's a turn off. Like,
it's definitely a turn off. Like, broke dudes are definitely just a turn off.
Like, I'm almost 43 years old. I can't date somebody who don't got it together by now. Like, how you my age and you don't got it together by now? How you older than me and don't got it together by now? Like, what the fuck? Get it together.
It's a very, very weird dynamic. It's such a weird dynamic out in the world today that I see it every day. I work in a female dominated field. I'm in like
So
the
you
nursing
hear
home
about
business
it,
basically.
too.
I cook in a nursing home. So the population, like if I'm working on the weekend, I am the lone male basically working, and then there's 20 girls on staff. So, you hear all the nonsense about all from every age group too, and it's such a weird dynamic that things are starting to shift the opposite. Like you said, your grandfather would be rolling in his grave. My father, if he heard some of the way some of these guys talk about the way they just are, the way they just handle situation, he'd smack the shit out of them. It's like you were raised a certain way, and we've lost the value, and I don't think it'll ever come back because of the way social media. I mean, social media is a
Oh,
great thing. We
absolutely.
talk about it all the time. It's a great thing, but it's also the devil. It's has given people a false sense of
Expectations.
the me
Like,
syndrome, the main character syndrome, the I'm
all
the
the time.
only thing that's important. That I think is what's driving us into the gutter is the main character syndrome because no one thinks or considers the other person.
Right.
So
You do see
if
that,
you can't
especially like
consider
with
the
what
other
we do.
person, how would you even think about being in a relationship? Mm. It's so
Like,
wild. It's so wild how the dynamic is shifting in such a way and so quickly.
I don't know. Like,
Go
I
ahead,
feel
Joe.
like I've been seeing it for quite some time. Like, just like the progress of it.
I mean,
Of
since no
just,
scrubs.
yeah, that part. It's been a slow, like, like that on the roller coaster. We got up there and now it's just all out of control. Like, hands are waving, fucking the safety bars flying off. It's like Final Destination type shit out here. You may lose a limb. It's a problem. And like, it really, like, dudes that approach me, I've been saying it since, God, like at least 20 plus years. When guys come up to me and I know I will eat you up and spit you out, I will do you that favor and be like, baby, I'll ruin your life. Like, you don't want none of this. Like, no, run. She will tell people.
I
Like,
tell people all the time. All the time. I just say run.
Because I'm a lot to fucking handle. And I know that. So it has to be like a very strong man.
Like, I say, my husband would die if he was married to Joe.
Oh my
Like,
God. He
literally, and he loves her, and he's around her all the time. But like, she doesn't take shit. She's always expressing herself, and like he would literally just die if he had to live with her.
I am big on
You know what?
resolution. I am big on like if there's an issue, I'm hitting it head on.
Right.
Like I'm
Me
not
too.
gonna like wait and like while if we argued and now you're just like sulking through the house for 2 days, or you're just giving me the silent treatment for 4 hours, or you're slamming shit around, I'm gonna slam shit too. And like let's see what happens. Like we gonna talk about this, or we both gonna be mad. Do you really want to be mad at me? Probably not. So we can sit down and talk about it. Even in my friendships, like if there's something that's bothering me, I'm hitting you up like immediately. Even people that aren't my friends. If you said some slick shit, what does that mean?
You're a
Explain yourself, because I'm not going to walk around like, what did that mean? No, I want to know now. So that doesn't work with a lot of men. They be like, yo, she pretty, but
okay. So
she's making me do work.
like most people, including myself,
Kevin, go ahead.
yeah, most people think that who they are, everybody's like that. So you just express something that is a super rarity in women, in terms of a lot of women like to play games in terms of coming and asking us to figure stuff out. And then when we don't, they basically tell us, and then we go, how the hell were we supposed to know that? The response every time is, you weren't just supposed to know. So
yeah, no, I'm going to draw you a map. I'll have a diagram.
no,
In your sake, I'd put it in Braille, motherfucker. Like, we gonna figure it out. I will write this shit down.
My friends like that, and I think that's kind of why I gravitate towards her, because it's like so super rare. And
because you never have to guess.
No, and at the end of the day, even if it hurts my nerves at the time, I know that's where you're coming from. And it's not like I'm going, what's wrong? Nothing. Everything's okay. Yeah. Like none of that. Like give it to me raw and uncut. And like I believe a lot of men aren't able to handle a strong and fight.
No, I'm not made for the weak. Women like me are not made for the weak. I guarantee you, if my ex comes out with a new album, there'll be like 3 love songs and 14 diss tracks. Like, and I will buy
it. You're a good sport.
I'm a good sport. I'm a good sport.
That's good though too. If you're willing just to be you right from the rip with no games, I commend you for that. Because I'm going to tell you right now, from the man's perspective, we don't get the subtleties and the nuances of like how Kevin was saying. We can't just give us like, oh, here X marks the spot.
Yeah,
but there's nothing else on the paper. You know what I'm saying? We need a path. Give us a little bit of a path, but we will figure it out if you point us in the right direction. But for real, with like me and Kerry, we are two totally opposite people. I'm very aggressive. She's not at all. Like, unless you piss her off and you bring her to a point, that's when she'll blow up. But me, I'm so quick to just jump down your throat if we have an issue. Then, like you said, it's on. Let's take care of this issue.
Yeah.
If we have to get physical, it's gonna end up getting physical if there's no other way to solve it. But I'd rather not. I'm too old for that shit at this point. But it's like, but she's like the total opposite of me. She has a lot more compassion. But yeah, she has so much more compassion than I do, and she's so much more caring for like other people's plight than I am, because I'm more of a black and white situational type of person. If I feel like you've done a lot of things by choice, and if you've made a lot of bad choices, I can't cry for you when you're in the situation that you're in. Right. But she's the one that let's do a clothes drive for everybody in the world and feed all the hunger. That's her,
like
so she
G.
balances
Like your
us
marriage
out.
is like mine and G's marriage.
Yeah.
That is our marriage. Mine and Joe's marriage is
She
like that.
balances
Like
it
I am
very
always
well.
giving people the benefit of the doubt, and she's like, "Fuck the doubt, no."
I be calling shit out. I'm like, yo, G, this, and that is gonna happen in this order. I will warn people. I'll be like, yo, do you know what you're about to walk into? Because I guarantee you this, that, and the third will happen. And then they want to get mad at me. You want to get mad at me for me saying this about to happen. I have lived a very
Right, for
worldly
predicting
life.
it. Right.
I have lived a worldly life. Sometimes
Mm.
I swear my ancestors are fucking witches because I be calling this shit. And lo and behold, it always comes true. It always fucking comes true. So once I start getting a vibe
Well, it
off of, like some dude that I'm with, I'm giving you that one chance to come clean. And now you want to try to play me, you want to try to embarrass me, you want to try to make me look like a fool. I can do that so much better. Like I'll have everybody in the fucking universe looking at you sideways. Like you
you're the type of
act up, I
person
could
that sees all the angles.
I'm
all
just
the angles. My head's
That's
always
you're
on a
definitely
swivel.
yeah. Yep.
She does,
And
but
you
she's
got your
also
mind.
like sometimes I mean, most of the time she's right. But like she can just take a scenario and spin it so wild that I'm like, all right, like let's just go back to like really that do you think that's gonna happen? You know, like it's not like
And I'll be
that.
like, it could.
It
It
could,
could.
It could,
you
yeah.
know.
You
It
think of
could.
every possibility. Yep, I'm the same way. I'm the same way. And sometimes my mind goes automatically. The first thought would be the criminal angle because that's how most people's would be.
Mhm.
You know, they automatically think of how they're going to get over. They're going to get something out of you. If they have to break the law to do it, they're going to do it. So that my mind is always
Absolutely.
thinking that way. Always thinking that way. It's not the best way to be, but we made it this far doing it,
It's a
so it's
defense
obviously working,
mechanism,
and it helps people out too. Oh, it really is. Oh,
Yeah, and it's
for sure. It's just how we were raised.
absolutely. And I really do feel like, like how we were raised and whatever traumas or successes or whatever we had experienced then molded us to who we are in a sense. Like, not, you can't blame everything on your mom not hugging you enough. Like you can't
Mm.
still be acting a fool because daddy went to go get milk and never came back. You can't, because once you get to a certain age, like, therapy is not frowned upon anymore.
Right.
Like, you can easily go get some help. You can easily talk it through. Some people just choose to be assholes, and some people just choose to take advantage of every situation. And I will always refuse to be that person. So I can never, like, I always can call it, and I can see it, and I can see where that person is coming from when they try to, like, get over on you. When they try to, like, bamboozle your ass a little bit.
You know what it
But
is? Everybody thinks that they're an entitled victim.
yes, absolutely.
It is. There's too much of that victim mentality, I feel like now that
When there are actual victims out
there are actual victims, right? Like not everybody is a victim. And, like me and Joe talk about this one a lot. Like I'm not the person that posts like, oh, I'm so sick, or, oh, my dog broke their leg. Like I just don't share that kind of information. I don't want like people's, pity on me in those situations. Like I like to be more strong and more positive and like not focus on negative things, and then there's some people that just thrive on it, where it's like, oh my gosh, I broke a nail today and I need attention, and I
It's
can't.
like, and if that post didn't get enough attention or
I'm gonna have
reaction,
another
I'm
problem.
gonna repost that shit.
Right.
Attention is a hell of a drug. I was actually talking about it today at work with a few people, and it doesn't matter if it's good attention or bad attention because, like, say someone that's been in an abusive relationship for 15 years, they're getting beaten 3 or 4 times a week. you know? Once that goes away, they still miss that person because it was attention. Even though it was bad attention, it
And the
was what they were
routine.
getting. It was their only form of love, That was the love that for years they were receiving that love, which wasn't, but that's how they perceived it. It's attention either way can be a dangerous thing, a very, very dangerous thing.
I was raised at I was taught at a very young age that you can, in fact, equate gifts with love. My dad showed me that. And that is one of the things that I have carried my whole life. Like a shitty relationship, I can go and I can leave all the gifts that you bought me because I equated those with the love you had for me. And I will leave that love right with your ass, be it a car, a house, whatever. Congratulations, it's yours. Because I will always equate that with the love rather than, hi, Candy, rather than a gift, like a fight. And it's always
Mm.
like this toxic energy. And it's always like you have to be on your defense. No, I'll leave that because I was taught at a very young age that you can equate gifts with love. And I'd rather just in my mindset from my protection and my sanity and my peace of mind equate gifts with love rather than equate love with getting your ass kicked or love with that toxic back and forth shit. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I'll be spoiled. I'd rather do that than just to hold on to or bring that into every other relationship, because the person you're dating next doesn't know your full traumas yet. And when you start getting comfortable and you're used to equating like abuse with love because that's all you had, you're going to start picking those fights and seeing how far you can push your new mate so that maybe you can get your fix on the love that you're used to.
It's a wild thing.
It is. But it's gotten me this far without just constantly being in a perpetual abusive relationship.
Yeah, there's no need for that. Especially today. It's like there's no need to go back and forth to fight, to bring it out into the streets, to bring it out into the virtual Facebook, Instagram world. And I see that a lot. It's like, oh my God.
Oh yeah, that's another one. That's like tricky. I see a lot people bringing their relationships into the social media and Facebook world. And, something like, this is like one of the few times I really like talk about my marriage even because I kind of like keep it a little guarded because it's really nobody's business besides mine and his, and especially being out, we're all out in the industry and different things like that, it's, it's more private for me. I don't know. I'm just a more private person with my relationship usually.
Yeah,
meanwhile, it's like all you see sometimes is like this fight and that fight. But then that also opens up the door for like the Captain Save-A hoes that are like, I would never do that to you. And the pick me bitches that are like, if you were my man, and now like your tiff with your man or your woman that you decided to publicly broadcast now has opened the fucking floodgates of the DMs.
Right.
And you have every thirsty motherfucker that has been waiting silently, lurking in the bushes for this to show a crack. And now what could have been fixed, both of you are sneaking on your phones, fucking entertaining the 7-6 people that just DM. Okay. Like all these people that fucking DM'd you. And now your relationship is over. And now you're just gonna see how long you guys can last with it being over.
Yeah, it's wild. It's so crazy to me that people,
I hate it here. Y'all
we saw it last year online and on social media. There was in our little here underground circle of what we do. Somebody put themselves out there in the world. I would never say no names, but a lot of people know if you're watching who we're talking about. They put their shit on blast, and it was like, holy shit, why would you do that? Like, you could not only you're ruining your relationships over, but you could have ruined your career.
Yeah.
Like, you're showing that side of you that, especially as a man, because we only have our word. That's
Mm-hmm.
one of our when in the mentality of a man, we have our word and our balls. That's it. And you're putting yourself out there in this light that you've done all these dirty things to your wife or your girlfriend or who what are you gonna do to your business associates? What are you gonna do to the promoters?
Exactly.
What are you gonna do to the like, wow, like, what are you doing? I wanna slap people. Like, a lot of people need supervision when it comes to social media. They need someone to proofread what they're
Yeah.
gonna post and say,
Yeah.
"No, you don't post that." They need management, something. Something needs to be done about that.
A good
That's my opinion.
friend to just be like, bitch.
You have to count to 10 before you respond.
Yeah, she
Oh,
did that to me during my last breakup. She had me promising that I would like count to 10 out loud before I started texting
You know what it
back,
is?
before I would post anything, because my mouth is reckless and you hurt me. And so I was like, I want to be like motherfucker. But even though it was like our breakup was pretty public because, like everybody knew we was together and then everybody knew we wasn't. And I'm not gonna like I'll give a grace period before I start acting single again.
mm,
I gave that grace period. I gave an even longer grace period when I already knew the relationship was over months before the relationship officially was over. I gave the grace periods. So once I got to like that point where I was like, okay, that's a dead issue. I have healed because like the grace period isn't just for if they're gonna get their shit together, but it's also for me to be able to reflect and lick my wounds and be okay with and not just jump into some bullshit, because a lot of people jump from like one situation to another
right.
and you never have time to heal and you're just taking all of like that baggage on with you. So I would much rather have that time to just be able to find myself again, find my happy place, like reconnect. And then, and I'm still single. Like I'm still like, you know what? I don't want to see anybody defer me again. I don't want to see anybody put their ego above my successes. I can be by myself. I have a dope like circle. Like it's a dot. It's that bitch right there. Like that's my
Here I
circle.
am.
Like I and I'm totally fine with that. But if somebody like that can check off all of those boxes on my long ass list comes along, and I'll be okay. I'll be okay with that too. Just
I have to
I'm
like
not
them
looking
too.
for it. I'm not like I'm not looking for it right now.
And that's your thing. Do your thing. It's your life. No one else can
It's
live
a
it
dope
for you. No one
life.
can tell you what to do. And
Nope.
the only thing you can control is you and your actions. That's it. You can't control anything else. You can't control people reacting to you. So
Nope.
it took me a long time to figure that out. That the only thing because I'm a super control freak. I really am. I know all my toxic traits. I know everything that's
Yeah.
bad about me, and I'm willing to tell you. Like at
Oh,
at work,
it's a
they
game. I
know.
be throwing them at people.
Yeah, it's like everybody knows at work I'm an asshole, but they respect it because I'm upfront.
Yeah.
And I don't try
You
to be
own
a
it.
I'm not trying to be a mean asshole. I never try to be a mean asshole. That will come out every so often. I try to be more like a funnier type, sarcastic asshole to everyone. So at
Mhm.
least I can get you to chuckle a little bit, maybe, but you have to know who you are. You really do. And especially if you're in a long-term relationship, you have to know who you are because you can get lost in the other person being with that person every single day. Kevin,
Yeah.
go ahead.
say this right now. You just hit the nail on the head. And I can tell you from personal experience, just dealing with people from all walks of life, I would say 85% of people either don't know who they are and or don't know who they are. And if they know who they are, they don't accept it. So
Mm-hmm.
what you get is disingenuous,
Mm.
misleading dishonesty. And I don't get that because what happens is eventually the truth comes to light.
Yep. They get tired of acting.
Yeah, and then my whole thing is what I do is I throw myself on Front Street and I say to the person, here I am, take it or leave it, good, bad, and indifferent. Because at the end of the day, most men put on a facade to win the woman over, and then once they get her, they stop. And that's why a lot of relationships fail.
That's
Yeah.
when I leave. That's when I leave because I feel like you lied about everything.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, it's a courtship to achieve a goal, and once the goal is achieved, you get lazy, and they don't realize that it's called work.
Mm-hmm.
And like I should be a multi-millionaire counselor for the amount of people I've helped, but it's almost like I do that because I have empathy, and I actually put myself in people's positions from all angles, and I ask the right questions to the people that they themselves don't ask. And it's like, okay, the writing's on the wall, but because it's not the writing that you like, it's an issue, as opposed to you doing what you need to do in the situation. Again, comes back around to victimhood and entitlement. It's like, no, you don't just put a seed in the ground, you don't water it, you don't fertilize it, you don't till the soil, and you expect it to grow. And
Yeah,
then when
you're
it's
waiting for that rose.
bitch,
Waiting for a
you know,
fucking 4-course meal.
yeah, it's the sun's fault.
Yeah. Those damn birds.
Yeah. Some
Yep.
people blame everything on everybody else, just and they, like you say, it's the victim mentality. It's a hard thing to deal with. I don't know where it came from. I know it hit hard in the past maybe 10 years or so. I really don't know how it started. I'm raised so old school that I miss a lot of things in the world too. I just let them go by me because I have my blinders on. I'm doing my thing. So it takes me a while. Like I didn't know what the hell was going on that Facebook had this big issue today or
I
whatever
know.
happened.
I thought I
I
got
was at
hacked.
I was at work. I was just doing my thing. I was trying to text the wife and I'm like, I called her. I'm like, I don't know, something's wrong with Messenger. I can't message you right now. I'm like, I'll talk to you a little bit later when I figure it out. I had no idea anything was going on. I try to like stay out of things.
Well, when it apparently when it went back on, I was trying to post a reel for Mouth because he's
Yeah.
performing at G Stat's birthday party this Friday night that me and G are we put together for them. So Mouth sends me his video. And I was gonna do the things I do and just make him a reel. I posted it once. That shit came up 4 fucking times on IG and on Facebook.
Yeah.
G's like, wait, I just got tagged in 4. Same thing. I was like, oh shit. But yeah, I posted it once and I hit post and I went to do whatever I had to do and it came up 4 times. I'm like, this shit's still glitching. Still glitching. I thought I slept through it all, but apparently.
Yeah. So I didn't know what the hell was going on. I really
Me
had
either.
no idea. But it's good to kind of keep blinders on
No,
in this world we live in today.
no,
You can't let too much in, man. You
I
can't.
can't ever just have blinders on. My head is on a constant swivel.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that's
I
day
I
day
will
to
wake
day
up in the
life.
morning.
I'm talking this virtual world that's like overrunning everything, and then it's taking over everyone's life, and you got to put the blinders onto
Oh
that.
yeah. Oh,
In your
absolutely.
day to day out in the streets, yeah, head on a swivel at all times.
But even
But
this, even with what we do, and like you said earlier, us being females in a male dominated thing, the bullies be trying to bully, and I'm a feisty little bitch with a big mouth and a long reach, so I will confront a bully. Say something about me, even if you didn't say my name, but you mentioned the space buttons. I'm like right on the phone, like, so what you gotta say? I'm right here. You know, because we're running a business.
But
And
you know, like those people, I feel like those people who say something or come or like whatever, like it's not because we've done
no,
anything to them. It's literally just
but I
like
will address it if they
your
address it.
existence bothers them because it isn't it's better or different than what their existence is. So
And because of social media, they have to like watch
they can
what we're
just stay
doing.
on their
They
keyboard
yeah,
and
they can just sit there and just watch. And for God's sakes, I was reported last week for nudity
that was funny.
and like fucking like sexual conduct on my live where we were talking about this Friday's show. Somebody reported me just because they knew if they said nudity, they said strong sexual content. Facebook is taking that down right away.
Right.
While they review it, right?
Like, and until I put in my dispute and was like, where? Like, oh, we just reviewed it. You were completely right. We apologize. It's back up, but it was like 6 minutes into it. So it's like social media, like as much as like I can ignore, because I'll tell her all the time, I must have scrolled past all of that because like I'm looking for like a cat meme or something. Like something
back
that's
and
gonna
forth
make
all
me
day.
laugh real quick while I'm like, like posting about our next event or our next drive or, whatever we have going on. Or one of our people's albums or whatever. But the fucking social media, it's like a blessing and a curse.
I say
I
sometimes
really,
like work, right? Like a lot of them, I mean, like, of course, like, we do the fun stuff of like sending memes and reels back and forth and stuff like that. But like, a lot of like social media is like work, even like when we go out to like concerts and shows and things like that, like it's work. I mean, it's personal and it's fun and it's great, but like we're also working, we're networking, we're thinking about our next show, we're doing, posts because we have to, strategic posts. Like it may not seem like it, but leading up to when we do a show, we're doing promo videos. We're making sure that like each artist is getting featured every day in a certain way. And, it's all kind of work to me in a way also, though.
It is a lot.
It really is. People don't understand how much goes behind it. They think, oh, you just have a Facebook page or you just do this or you just do
right, or
that.
you're just on social media all the time. But
yeah, it's the only thing I use it for is for basically this. You're really gonna find me post anything real personal. I'll post pictures of me and her at shows, whatever. But I'm not gonna go in there and go boo-hoo, I hate my life, da 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 da. No, I'm gonna try to be as positive as I possibly can be. Sometimes my public service announcements aren't very positive, but the reason why I do it is to get engagement. That's what people don't understand. I'm going to post an opinion. You might not like it. Like today, I posted an opinion. A lot of people, oh my God. That's fine. That's fine. It's not hating. I hate that word that, oh, you're hating. No, it's not. It's my opinion. There's no hate involved. I don't hate any of these people I'm talking about. But the only reason why I did it is because I want those clicks and you need that to happen with social media.
Right.
You need to stay
I'm
in the
just
algorithm.
really petty. I'm like super petty.
Some people are.
I put the petty and pretty. Like I sometimes I'm just like,
What?
I let enough slide.
Social media can definitely ruin relationships very quickly if people don't, they put too much stock into it. They act like it's the real world.
Right.
It's not the real world. It's really not. It's the Matrix. It's the virtual world. It's censored. Censorship is the weapon of the weak. And a lot, like you said, you get 6 minutes into your show and somebody tries to take you down because that's their weapon. They can censor you.
But the joke's on them because I got like fucking great content out of it. I'm like wishing everything inconvenient that can happen to a bitch is gonna happen. And then I got a bunch of views off of my like little spiel on I hope. So
you step on it
like it backfired.
That's another thing they don't get is they're sitting there and they're like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and it makes people more interested. Like, are you dumb?
Like, why do you hate her so much?
Right,
Right.
exactly. Now we need to figure out why
What
he
did
hates
she
her. So,
do?
right, exactly. It's like they don't get it. I don't know, but we are coming to the end of our hour. It's been a
Yes,
great, yeah.
that was fun.
It flew by fast. We're gonna have you guys on again. You know that we're gonna be
Yeah, we'd love
we'll be
that.
working
Love
together
it.
in the future. Tell us where we
Yes.
can find you, what you guys have coming up. Plug away.
All
Shameless self
right.
promotion.
On IG, you can find me at the XO Joe Show. There's click the link to get to my Facebook because I'm not gonna do that to y'all.
And then find me because I'll be tagged in every one of the posts, and then just
At
follow
Gigi
me. It's
Cattle.
Gigi Cattle.
So easy.
I know, right? The XO Joe Show. You will find everything. We are getting ready for G Stats More Life celebration. It's hosted by Skanks Rap Marta this Friday at Shuby's at the Hive in Baldwin, 2428 Grand Avenue, actually. We have 10 amazing acts,
Incredible. Yeah.
incredible artists. We have dances. We have the Long Island Hustle House is going to be there. A bunch of special guests because, we know some people.
Always.
And
we're going to be raising money for a very important
SOS.
organization. Yes, SOS.
G Stats had picked this organization about a month ago when he asked us to get his birthday together. He loved Rusty Jooks' birthday party so much. Like that night, he was like, "Don't change a thing. I need this," and we did it. And I had him pick an organization, and he picked SOS Brooklyn, Save Our Streets. They're an anti-violence, like, mediation organization. And unfortunately, G-Stat's stepson was killed just a few days ago, Thursday night. So this now means like so much more to not just G-Stat, but all of us as a whole, and he was 13 and he did not deserve to have his life taken so soon. But now this means so much more to G-Stats. So we will be raising funds all night. We'll be raffling off a 1.75 bottle of Hennessy, and we'll be selling tickets throughout the night. And all of that's going to be going to SOS as well as a portion of the door. And we're just going to
celebrate more life.
We're going to celebrate more life and make sure that Troy didn't go in vain, like honor him, like his father can honor him the best way possible. Come this, like this weekend, come Saturday, he gets to go and, like
make that donation,
do something, that is going to mean a lot more to his community than we anticipated.
Right. Well, proud of you ladies. Proud of you ladies for doing what you do. Keep blazing your path. Fuck what everyone else says. That's my mentality. We know
a fireman. We do. Call.
There you go. I'm sure you do. She's like, I got a fireman, I got a police, I got this, I got everybody on the list. I'm sure you do.
It's good to have good friends because he's really going to come and just put out any of my dumpster fires, burning bridges.
It's good
trees that may catch fire during us blazing our path.
It's good to not blow up every relationship. That's one of my things is you don't want to blow up every relationship you have.
No, but I will dance on a bridge that you are burning.
Hey, tap dance away. But ladies, yes, it's been fun.
Been a pleasure.
Kevin, my friend, do you want to say anything to wrap us up?
No, just it was a pleasure to make both you guys' acquaintances. Big respect for what you're doing. I'll reach out when I need stuff to get promoted. I'm going to start working on new music soon. So on behalf of the culture, people who are appreciated. Like without you guys, we are nothing. You get the word out there. You guys stand for something significant, and I'm all for the charitable work. So big up, enough respect. You've literally instantly earned my respect for just being who you guys are. So yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're blushing, just in case.
We
you
are. We're
wanted
both
to know.
blushing.
I can confirm. I can confirm. But yeah, I'm gonna be on the Smoke and Herb radio station, radio show, I should say, tomorrow, 2:30 or 3 to 4:30, actually, with Graham Sport and Joey Slicks. Me and Charlamagne will be there tomorrow. Coming back with the Hip Hop Happy Hour podcast Thursday night. G&A is gonna be with me. Y'all, not G&A, B&A. I am so fucking up tonight. B&A is gonna be with me. Y'all know them, Barbaric and Alvarez. And May 4th, we have the next Culture Corner show coming up. You all seen the flyer. I don't even remember everybody that's on the bill right now. My mind is scrambled. I've had a long day. But again, for everyone at the Culture Corner, ladies, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
We out. Peace.
Bless up. Bless up.
Peace, peace, peace. Adios, my friends.